Good morning. Here we go again. Let's look for a video. And I'm going to do one on Jason Blaha again. And we're going to talk about... I seen he did another one on bench pressing. Here we go. Can you let the ad play? Yeah, I'll let it. A really short one. Video plays right after this one, so I'll do it. You have to let it play.
Hey everybody, it's Jason.
I even hit like because I'm not a hater like some of you guys.
A little bit about bench pressing with a wider grip, and I know that even originally on my channel this was a point of controversy. There are quite a few coaches out there, who are like, oh no, we...
Okay, if you're going to train bench press, why not do a wide grip, a medium grip, and a closer grip? I even like to do this kind of grip as well. It's called a French press close grip bench. And you can even do reverse grip. So why not do all of those hand positions? Why not? Really. Whatever your main lift is though, do that first though. Your main heaviest bench. So if you're training for a max like I do, I always go up and do a training max. And then I do my sets after. So do that main grip first. And then do everything else after that. Why not?
You do everything closer grip, don't go really wide, it's hard on your shoulders. Yet the reality is, as I've gotten into wider grip benching, of course, I felt that my chest has grown more. I've had to play catch up because I used to be so much stronger with close grip because that's all I did. But as I've done...
You've had to play catch up? So did you catch up, Jason? Can you actually bench press 365 pounds right now? I don't think you can. Am I wrong? I'm going to be watching a video in the next week or so. I hope you do that. Let's see if you can do that, Jason. I don't think you can. Sorry. So you haven't caught up to anything yet.
This over the years, trained longer, observed more lifters. I've come to realize a lot of that does come out of the powerlifting world, and I feel like a lot of it even comes from the equipped powerlifting world that's so tricep dominant due to the bench shirts. But that being said, I still saw J.M. Blakely.
And steroids, Jason. You gotta leave that out. So they use like their big bench shirts and whatnot. But they take steroids, Jason. They can't do anything without steroids, just like you. Sorry. You should have stayed off them when you were younger. When you hit all your big numbers before you did steroids, why didn't you just stay off steroids? What did it do for you? Nothing, obviously.
Point that out once to an equipped lifter and a thing. He's like, look, you need to go as wide as you can in competition. He's like, and the reason is you'll lift more weight, it'll shorten the range of motion. Okay, he goes, and this is basic physics. Like, you can't change physics. So you have that to think about. Of course, he was having them arch and everything, especially if you arch. I think there's a big degree of truth to that.
Well, some people have longer arms, some people have short arms for their height. Me, I got long arms, almost 78-inch wingspan, so I got to move the weight far, okay? And I got to do the overhead presses far, which you can't even do, Jason. So, and none of you guys can do that. I argue about you with people all the time about this, and I'm right. You got to be able to overhead press and bench.
But what we really find is that when you don't arch, a perfect example of like, you saw me there benching flat back, and the same thing here on this incline set. You can't, not really much arch happening on the incline with your butt planted, right? And now on the incline here, I'm touching the upper chest, but again, I'm benching very, very wide. I'm to the point where my hands are fairly close to the J-hooks, and I'm getting close to the limits of what would be allowed in a competition.
So do you think that's...
Right?
So when you look at this bench right here, watch. Does that look like it's a really short range of motion? Like really?
Chest. Of course, I'm going in tricep work for good measure because we're
I don't
go
feel it's a shorter range of motion.
But when I've looked at historically,
unless you can arch off and you have pretty short arms.
Notice a lot of lifters, ones who had really big benches who were wide like that. I'm talking in the 500 plus pound range. They tended to have.
Anyway, they'll be right back. Who cares about all you junkies that do 500 plus pounds on steroids? To be honest, that's all you respect is the steroids. You don't see it because you do it. And you guys that respect it, is because you do steroids. It's a junkie. It's the same thing. Without that, you can't do it. Sorry, nothing. You can't do anything.
Have massive chests. Same thing with ones who bench fairly flat back. You know, before people say, oh, you'll never lift as much that way. But there are people who have. I mean, there are guys in the 500-600 pound range who have benched that way.
With steroids, you're not going to do it, Jason.
And
so
some of them are not super.
it means we'll go back to your arch
benches
bench as well, because it's actually safer on your shoulders.
If you look at the chest development of a lot of the guys who've done that, it's worked. They haven't needed to go use other things, to have pecs easily double or triple the size of mine. So something I want people to think about this. Plus, you don't see the shoulder injuries. The people who get shoulder injuries on benching, it's usually due to ego.
You're still using your leg drive, Jason.
People still trying to get hurt on benching.
You're still using your leg drive, Jason.
People on shoulders aren't getting hurt by benching. How you just saw me bench there. On a flat back, flat heels. How you just saw me bench there. And the flat
Fucking thing.
Flat double or triple the size of mine. So something I want people to think about this. Plus, you don't see the shoulder injuries. The people who get shoulder injuries on benching, it's usually due to ego lifting and correct technique, all sorts of stuff.
So you still use your arch, and you still lift your butt basically when you do it. Your legs are just too short to get off your butt off the bench. Plain and simple, right there.
That those shoulder injuries on the bench happen, number one, due to over.
Plus, you're on steroids. Was that a 365? Was that? I don't know.
So even if you notice this touch and go, I'm doing their very soft touch and goes. Right? It's the bouncing the weight that I've found causes most of the shoulder injuries in people, along with grinding through reps they're not capable of doing. And
Anyways, you cannot do 365 without drugs, man. Plain and simple. Man, I have no respect for you guys that do steroids because you cannot do it without drugs, man. And Jason, you can bench, but you can't even overhead press, man. What are the drugs doing for you? Nothing. Let's see you do a 150-pound strict curl.
pull wrist stacking. So the other thing to note, guys, I want you guys and gals to note.
Plus your bench is on an angle as well, man. Right, when you do it, the bar is on an angle, man. I can see it. No big deal. But
it is stacked directly over my wrist bone. This locks everything in tight. It reduces.
Anyways, I'm gonna go through this fast.
You guys have seen 2 sets of 10 with 250 on a close grip.
Oh, it wasn't. So that was a 335 you did. Okay? Because your weight plates like that are what? 10s. I didn't know if they were 25. So you didn't do a 365 like I said there. You did a 335. Fuck, that's easy, man. You're on steroids, buddy. You're lighter than me, and you can't even do 365 like you said. Sorry. You cannot do it, Jason. I've already kind of flat backed as well. Maybe I'll do it today again for you guys. Or you guys can bring up my fucking butt lifted, heavy 405 and whatever, no problem.
Doesn't build as big a tricep as you think it might unless you're just really genetically gifted in the tricep.
Alright. Triceps, I don't know, man. My overhead press builds my triceps, and my kickbacks builds my triceps. My arms are way bigger than yours, Jason. They're longer and stronger. You have you have nothing on me, and none of you guys really do, man, to be honest with you. Plain and simple. That's the truth. That's the facts. I got the big right hand right here. Look at that. For you guys that are talking like that last night, it's okay, man. I love it. You know where I am? No big deal. I don't run from nothing. Peace. I never have, never will.